Arden, I
Yes.
haven't met you. Is it Arden?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't met you in person. My name is Ceci Futrell. I am a member of the ALC, and I've been a real estate agent. I had to look it up today too. Since May of 2015. I started my career as a dual agent. When I left the school system, I was kind of at a loss for what I wanted to do. I had an opportunity to take the classes for $99. And I was like, oh, I can afford that. That's not a bad idea. So I took the classes, and they were through Weichert. And so, of course, I signed up with Weichert. Once you got your license and pay and, joined the office and passed the PSI, their training was great. Go out and sell houses. We'll see you later. Let us know if you need anything. But of course, it wasn't always easy because I felt like oh no, this is my information. I'm not going to share any tips or information with you because you may intrude on what I might be able to do. So, so about a year later, I got a call from Keller Williams and came over, liked what I heard, and have been here, I guess, for at least 4 of the years that I've been an agent. And what I really like is opportunities like Ignite and everything else to be able to share my information, share other people's information, and get training. I learn something every new. I'm learning something new with what I'm teaching today. I went through it yesterday, and I was like, okay, I need this, that I have been running my business by the seat of my pants, to be honest with you. And so this is really funny that I'm teaching this class today. So I think it'll be interesting. I'm going to learn and put some of these things that we're learning today, some of these strategies, into practice myself. I have a coach, and she's been trying to get me to really up my game. I forgot there was something I wanted to, look up, but I will by the time we get to that point. Anyway, so welcome. That's a little bit about me. And does anyone have any questions they would like to discuss before we get into today's material? Great. Anybody have anything that they want to share that they're grateful for in this learning journey?
I'm grateful for all of you guys that have been taking the time to teach us new agents, and give not only great lessons, but also insights and out of the book sort of knowledge, experience. So that was really cool. And
great. Since we only have 2 of you in the class today, Artie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so that I can kind of know where we are?
Yeah.
Caitlin's on the call too. It's probably weird on the screen.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to say, I was like, I'm here too.
This happened the other day too. I felt so bad. So I'm going to make sure I say that now.
Hi, Caitlin.
How are you? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Have you been with us the entire time so you know who I am?
Yes, I've been here the entire time.
Okay, great. All right, Arden, go ahead. Give us a little bit of information about you.
Yeah, so I joined Keller Williams in September, October, something like that, and with the American Dream team with Zoe Sahin. And from before that, I used to be a server, and back in Italy, that's where I come from, where I moved from 2.5 years ago. I was also a server, but a real estate agent at the same time.
Good,
Yeah.
good. So I have a restaurant background also. So
Nice.
I know the feeling, and in a way, this is very similar. Real estate is very similar to serving people.
Yeah.
So, exactly. Peter, what do you want to tell us about yourself this morning?
I hate talking about myself, but I just want to echo Art's comments. real quick. Like Ceci, a year or so ago when I started thinking about becoming a realtor, I interviewed with a number of brokerages and found Keller Williams Dulles to be very welcoming, and also this is a double negative, but nobody says no. Everybody's very, very helpful. If they don't know the answer, they start digging until they get the answer. And Kari's probably at the top of that list. So I've found it's a very, very pleasant experience. And I am a single agent, whatever you want to call it, but I've never felt alone. And I think Ardit and Caitlin, you've probably heard my background. Navy pilot, left the Navy, retired from the Navy, 30 years as a government contractor, lots of success there, had a lot of fun. Very proud of the fact, and I feel very lucky that I've traveled literally around the world. Here I am, loving life.
So you've had a 30,000 foot view of the world.
Yes. And occasionally we landed somewhere.
Great, thanks. Caitlin.
Yeah, so as you guys know, but I just started with Keller Williams probably in September. I've had a few surgeries in the past couple months here, so I'm getting a slow start, if you will, and I have another surgery coming up in a week. So I'm trying to just get my training done so that once I'm kind of all healed, we can hit the ground running a little bit. But yeah, I'm a single agent. I have a background in marketing, finance and accounting, as well as, sales and things like that. So I'm just really excited to start this journey.
Wonderful. Thank you. Maybe you'll be teaching us something when we get to the second session this morning on finances and how to control those. So great. Today we will focus on how to cultivate your leads into seller opportunities. Oh boy, here we go. What we'll focus on today will be lead generation, of course, I'm reading this real quick. Your database is your life. That I don't know if you've heard the story that Gary Keller, when he first started, had a shoebox and index cards that he had in a box, and he went through those. I'm sure you've heard that story a million times already. So that was his database. Now we have a great tool for using, for having a database. Of course, you're welcome to use any that you want, but the command does a pretty good job at keeping you organized. So let's see, whoops, wrong, okay. I have two screens going here, so I gotta be in, okay. So the goal of our time here is to model what successful agents do every day and show you how to do it. Well, I'm gonna learn how to do that too today. So we're gonna, there we go. You lead gen, you grow your business, and then there's running. So understanding your motivation, your big why. Does everybody know what your big why is? I had a real hard time with that. My big why when I first started was money. But now I realize that it's not all about the money. It's about your relationships with people. And that was kind of, I guess, the same when I was a server. So it's been a lot of years. So we're gonna learn about building your database. You have partners, I understand, for script practice, so we won't be doing that. We won't really be doing lead generation, but we'll talk about it in depth. And so in order to work with sellers, we need to find seller leads. Let's learn more about where we can look for seller leads. Okay, got that. So everybody know what your motivation is and your big why? Is it money? All right.
Money's always in the mix.
Yeah, you wouldn't, I mean, let's be honest, it is. It's a big thing. And, you know, and you kind of think that way, but then you turn around and you have a book like this that Gary wrote, and it says, it says how to be a millionaire real estate agent. Well, it is about the money. So anyway, gosh, how many times have you seen this already?
A lot.
You're not caught. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day. So I think they're trying to make a point here. So finding seller leads. So check what is your number one job is, okay. What is your number one job as a real estate agent?
Lead generation.
Lead generation. Very good. So where do you find your seller leads? Has anybody done any sellers listings?
Nope.
Not yet, but I have some like conversations, I guess, in the works right now with like Zillow. A lot of people that are just like representing themselves that I've just found and reached out to.
So FSBOs.
Yeah.
Great.
And
So
I've gotten a couple through referrals.
good. So yeah, I think that's the way it seems to happen. So using your database and your daily 10-4 is the best way to get your seller leads. Open houses are a great opportunity because a lot of potential buyers are also sellers. So if, maybe with the market today and the way that everything is going so fast, people are beginning to look for the house that they want before they put their house on the market. So you could, do a double deal there, which would really help. So leveraging your sphere is a great big way to build a referral. So it's a matter of just reminding people. We'll get into that too. Let's see. So yeah, I'll tell you, some of my best leads have come from open houses. I had one open house. I had a rental in Alexandria, and I kept getting calls for people wanting to see it that were not represented. So I decided to set a line of appointments for one day, knowing that I was going to rent it immediately. So that gave me a lot of opportunity. And then when I had time to actually talk to the people coming in looking for rentals, by the way, my first year I did 13 rentals. It didn't pay the rent, but I learned how to write a contract. And I learned a lot from it, that it bought groceries anyway. So I was telling you the story about, so I had this one young lady come in and I said, why are you calling all these individual agents to set up appointments? Because she had said, I've got another appointment with another agent to see another property. And I said, well, why are you doing it like that? It doesn't cost you anything to use a agent to find a rental, that the owner is the person that pays the agent. She goes, oh, I did not know that. And I said, so why don't we set up some appointments and I'll help you find your place. Well, I worked with her for about 2 weeks and finally found a place for her. And she was from Atlanta, so she had to go back to Atlanta and finish up and get back up here. So while she was in Atlanta at church, she met another couple she knew says, "Oh, we're moving to DC, to the DC metropolitan area." The husband had a new job. So she says, "Oh, you got to meet this person. She's wonderful." Of course. And so then so they called me. I set up an appointment with them and I met with them. And it took us about 3 months to find him the right house. He is actually a real estate lawyer for a very large builder in the area. And he really didn't want to buy one of their houses. So interesting enough. So I went over and above to find these people a house. I got to the point where they really wanted to be in Vienna. And if anybody knows Vienna, things are going really fast. And so I drove around and I took pictures of every house that was being built. I called the builder and said, "Have you already sold this house? Do you have any others that are coming on?" Blah, 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 and just kept hitting like that until finally I found a house for him in Vienna, and it was $1.7 million. So open houses, great opportunities. The key is to, when you're doing open houses, and I imagine there's a thing on here on open houses, but that's a great way. Unfortunately, everybody's doing their own open houses today because of the lack of, where they aren't on the market very long. If you have to do an open house, it's only going to be one. So in there, in your toolkit, apparently there's an open house job aid to use on how to do an open house. So find seller leads, your database, your daily 10-4, open houses, and referrals. So when you go into the referrals, using and how to ask for anybody that they know. So when we get there. So let's switch gears, and comes after connecting, pre-qualifying, converting your seller leads into appointments. Explain the difference. Okay, I'm reading this as I've done it. I've looked at it, so please, be patient with me. One of your leads tells you that you are interested in selling their home. You need to connect with them so that they'll, so you can, with them so that you'll be their real estate agent of choice. And you need to categorize them when you're meeting them. They say, "Oh yeah, I want to sell my house." Great. When can we meet? So that's one of the first things. So does Thursday at 3 work for you, or Friday at 1? That's a conversation, just to get started. Then when you meet with them, you're going to try to find out what their whole, when they say, "Well, I'm going to sell my house." A lot of times when you say, "Well, when can we meet?" They're going to go, "Well, I'm not really ready yet. I'll be ready in about 6 months." Then you categorize them. And we're going to get to that too, I think. Each step is important. You need to pre-qualify them. Finally, if they're ready, okay. Each step is important. Let's go on. Okay, here we go. Connecting questions. There we go. So you want to get as many details as you can about the job, the family, etc. You also want to, what are you looking for? What do you want to do? Why are you moving? I think, there we go. Where do you want to, that's more for buyers instead of seller lead categories. But the next one, so pretty much what, where, why, when, and how are the questions. So that you want to ask. Does anybody have any other examples of connecting questions you could ask? All right, me either. So there's on the slide that you can.
Ceci, if I could just jump in for a minute. One of the questions that I found useful is who's involved in your decision-making process?
Absolutely, that's a very important question. You know, is it a husband and wife? Is it just one person that owns the house? Is it you know, who else owns the house and has, you know, and when you're making an appointment, if you can ask for that second person or third person, whoever else owns the house, to be at that same appointment so you don't have to repeat yourself, is, you know, really a good idea. Thank you very much, Peter, for bringing that up. So
I had a recent experience. I got a client, a divorced woman, and so we had, you know, the first meeting, and then she said, well, my son is going to be a co-owner. Okay. And so we had that meeting, and then she said, and my older son will also be involved. So that's when I finally got smart and said, okay, let's get everybody together.
yeah, it does make a big difference if everybody is going to be involved in the process. I don't know how that worked out for you. How did it work out for you? Did you get them all together and get them someplace?
Well, we got them all together, and they are not wealthy by any stretch. They have a lot of equity or she has a lot of equity in her existing house. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, but at least you're able, with the three of them together, to narrow down what it is that they're really looking for and what everybody's wants are and what's everybody's needs, you know, and get them aligned. So
Right.
Yeah, that's really an important thing. Okay, so why is it important for you to know that how ready your potential seller is? You'll follow up differently with the seller who is ready now than with a seller that will be ready in 6 months. The difference between an A, B, and C based on the list. So an A is I'm able, I'm ready, I'm willing, and let's do it. Let's get it started. Let's get, you know, go. Let's get the whole, you know, process started. With them, you'll do a follow-up daily to secure the appointment and to get that all started. A B would be able, willing, ready, and willing to do business in a 50 to 60 day, you know, so 2 weeks to 2 months. So what you would do is put them in your database and call every 2 to 3 days, or at least once a week. Then the C's are people that say, well, I'm not ready right now, maybe in 3 months, maybe, you know, in 6 months. So what you do is you put them on a drip campaign. And call them monthly, send them information that would help them, you know what's going, keep them involved in what's going on the market. You know, it's like something that the interest rates are going up a little bit at a time, slowly. Right now they're at 3.2, I think Jocelyn said yesterday. So that's quite a difference from a 2.5. So by organizing them, how am I doing on time? Half an hour, okay. I already said, you know, put them in a smart plan. Has everybody gotten into command? Ardit, have you been in command?
So me and Zoe don't use command. We use brevity,
Oh, okay. And do
but
they,
it's similar.
yeah, do
Yeah.
they have a drip campaign part of it too?
So they do, but we are restructuring them right now and then rewriting them to like sort of meet this, more like these newer times. They're really old scripts that don't apply anymore almost. So they do, but we're changing them. We're making them better.
Yeah. How about you, Caitlin?
I use command. Like I said, I'm having a slower start, so I'm just like adding things into it and really reaching out more via referrals and VisBos, like you mentioned before. But yeah, I have used it before.
Good, good. Then you know that there is a neighborhood landing page for the lead too, meaning that you can set them up in their own neighborhood or
Right.
the neighborhood that they want to look in, so that they are they know what's going on in the market. Knowledge is king. So, all right, real play, categorize your seller leads. We're gonna kind of go past that. But yeah, that's very important to go ahead and put give them a rating, ABC, so that you know which way to go. So to convert your leads to contacts, you got to find their motivation first. That's, why are you going to move? How quickly do you need to move? What is going on? So, and then of course, you also want to ask for a referral. Do you know anybody that I should know or that I should talk to? So creating a reciprocal relationship is how you turn a lead into a contact. Basically, for a seller, means to ask how you connect with and meet with them. For a referral, this means asking how they can connect you with people that might meet with you. Okay, I already did that. So basically is finding out their motivation. And there's appointment using 2 steps. Ask for the business. When will you be ready to sell? And then ask for the appointment tomorrow at 3, Friday at 1. What works best for you? There's so much information here. I'm just kind of going so that we all don't get bored, okay? But stop me if you have any questions. I didn't say that earlier and I should have. So we've already talked about other questions, the why, what, where, what, and that whole thing. So, oops. There we go. So to make the best use of your time, you want to qualify them, pre-qualify sellers rather than expecting that each seller lead will become an appointment. And that's what we've just been talking about, making them ABCs, asking the question, let them know that you're an expert in the area. Let's see. Yeah. I'm sorry. This is my first. I need to take teaching the teacher class, whatever. Give a real life example of an experience where you had qualifying a seller helped you determine their motivation or saved you time. Well, right now I have this going on, that I have someone who is building a house in Fredericksburg, and they want to sell their house in June or July. They aren't ready to put it on the market. But what I'm doing is I am still contacting them every month and saying, okay, how we coming? What about, have you taken care of this or that you wanted to take care of? Kind of going through the whole, what they might need to do before they put their house on the market. If somebody says, well, I'm not going to be ready for 6 months. Well, why is it 6 months, or why in June, aren't you going to be ready to sell? Well, I need to kind of take care of some things in the house. I need to put new carpeting down. I need to paint. I need to fix this or that. Those are all really important things, but you can help them to decide what is important and what is just fluff, that they aren't going to get their money back out of. Painting, depending on the shape, how bad the carpet is, in the house. Sometimes, just cleaning the carpet is better than to put down new carpet, because they're going to rip it up, and they don't like your colors, they have different ideas, things like that. So you can tell them, that it's probably better just to clean it if it's, like that, than it is to replace all the carpet, saving them money, because they aren't going to get the money back. It's not going to make that much difference. And it, at the end of this day, they may have a problem with the carpet, and you offer them $500 towards new carpet or something like that. Give them a subsidy. But a lot of times, just cleaning the carpet, because it's cosmetic. It's cosmetic, and that's what a lot of people want to do before they sell their house. So
yeah, if I can interject here for a second, I've find myself having the delicate conversation that you're, getting ready for a business transaction. You're not getting your child ready to try to marry them off or something like that. So, stop doing all the home improvements that you've been thinking about for 10 years.
exactly, that what your tastes are might not be the taste of somebody else that, might be looking at your house, that, making sure the bones are good is basically the most important part. And, be, know what you're talking about, know your stats, position yourself as an expert. So I always ask, so if you were selling your house today, how much would you expect it to be? And then I always go through the listing presentation. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at that, but go through when you're going through the listing presentation, mention that it's not, the price of the house is not what the neighbor thinks it is worth or anybody else. It's what the consumer is willing to pay for that house. Then, and setting seller expectations. That's probably the number one mistake that an agent can make when they are dealing with people. I've made it time and time again in different situations. And so setting expectations is really the key to a great customer. Meaning that when you, we'll meet on, today, we'll go, or tomorrow, we'll go through my listing presentation. Some people aren't all into the numbers. You've got to kind of qualify them of what kind of buyer they are. I'm trying to think of the name of the test. You probably know, Peter, better than I do, where one person is a high A, a high, so what is that test?
Myers-Briggs.
Myers-Briggs, right? So first of all, find out what you are, and then figure out what kind of client, are they, like a CPA might want to know more about what the prices are, what the, whereas every nickel and dime the HOA is spending goes, the person that, well, I just want my house to be pretty, that type, so anyway. Okay, now we'll look at the tool in your book about pre-listing. Okay, pre-listing questionnaire. Download the pre-listing questionnaire from your electronic toolkit. And I think that's a really good one to have even before you go into the actual meeting. If you can do this on the phone and find out, you can then go prepared for the right answers. How'd you hear about me? How soon do you have to be there? All of those things. I don't have a copy of that questionnaire in the toolkit right now, but I'm going to print that out. I start using it, I think, on my phone calls before I go to knocking on the door and saying, hi, I'm here to list your house, that you know where they are, what they're looking for, so that you can funnel down into what's important for them. So do you guys want to bring up the questionnaire, or is this enough of it that you can see? You good?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. Since I heard Judy went 45 minutes over, we may try to go a little shorter. Okay, we're gonna skip the role play. We did that. Okay. All right, the listing presentation. Here we go. So there is a editable listing presentation on command in the design section. It's very user-friendly to be able to move things around. And actually, we were thinking about having, after Kim Mingo, well, it's not Kim Mingo, but the person from Bright comes in a couple of weeks, to have Mike give a class right after that on the listing presentation, so that you can see how to embed the information that Bright has to offer into your listing presentation. So I think we're going to get that done. So an effective pre-packet positions you as their real estate expert of choice, the best person to get their home sold for the right price in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassle. Boy, that's a lot to say. That's a big promise. The packet plays too, Chris. The pre-selling listing materials are specifically designed to build sellers' confidence to you and to answer their questions and objections in advance. A strong pre-listing packet will make the consultation experience smoother and probably shorter than it otherwise have been. So in the command, and let's see if they're gonna give us any more information about that. No. Anyway, as you go through the listing presentation, you can take pages out that you don't need. You can add pages that you think would be important. And it's about 30 something pages long. And it really makes a difference when you're talking to a client that is getting ready to sell their house, that you can answer a lot of questions. And of course, you're sitting down with somebody, they've never sold their house, they've bought a house, but they've never sold a house, or they've sold many, whichever it is. But they need to know what the expectations are, how the process works, and how you're going to help them get through the process. And the listing presentation helps you to give to give a timeline of how everything's going to work. That really makes a big difference to the client. They hear you, but they don't listen to you sometimes on that. So it's very important. I always leave the listing presentation with them so that we can refer back to them later. With especially the timeline and everything. I should have pulled up my listing presentation here, pulled it out. It's very important, and the one in command is very user-friendly to do. So I'm running two screens here, and I'm not really good at that. The pre-selling materials are especially designed to help build the seller's confidence in you. It's going to make the consultation experience smoother and probably shorter. Well, I'm one that gets a little nervous in front of people, probably not as much today as I was 2-3 years ago. Oh, I forgot to mention, I started my career as a dual agent. After I left the schools and I got my license, I had an opportunity for a job with the fire marshal's office over in Fairfax. So I was trying to do that job 40 hours a week. I was able to work 4 10-hour days, but then I was trying to do real estate on the side. So it was, once I had my presentation together, I could know what to say all the time. So I think that made a big difference. So it just makes it go smoother, and if you not only printing out your or offering your listing presentation, but knowing what it says on all of the slides, it just kind of helps you to make sure you aren't missing any of the important parts too. So it's really important. I'm not having you guys bring up the listing presentation. I probably should have brought it up on my side next time, but you guys can all find it. It's under Designs and Command, and it's the first, it's not marked as listing presentation, but it's the very first icon, I guess. So, okay. Practice the listing presentation. Well, I don't think we're going to do that. Anybody have any ahas about the pre-qualification questionnaire? Do you have any questions? Yeah. Anybody got anything to say about any of this?
No, it's pretty straightforward, to be honest, more than I thought.
Yeah, it is. And with the listing presentation being already presented for you or already put together for you,
right,
then you kind of just follow the yellow brick road right through it,
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. I don't know if this is the right thing to say or not, but there's a ton of material under the listing presentation, and I use some of it, but certainly not all of it, because I think you run the risk of overwhelming your client.
Exactly, I agree. There's the old one that used to have, well, we will be using marketing, we'll use Zillow, we'll use all of these other, that it'll be seen on Google, it'll be seen, and in a way, in today's society, with everybody being so technologically educated, that they kind of know that that's, and they've already started looking at houses and seeing what's on the market. Even if they're selling, they're going to look on the market and, on Zillow or Redfin or wherever your own, KW app, you know, to see what is selling in their neighborhood. And that's part of the thing with the neighborhood snapshot that is available, that they can see what's going on in their own neighborhood. So they've already begun their pre-shopping. So I'm saying my point is that's not a necessary sheet. You know, and like you said, Peter, you aren't very comfortable talking about yourself. I'm not either, believe it or not. And so it, especially to a client, yeah, trying to pump up and fluff your feathers and say, oh, I'm the best, you know, when you don't have any, you know, transactions under your belt, then that makes a big difference. But, you know, it helps to have a little bit of a bio on where you've been so that they know you're a person. You're actually not just somebody that's going to, that you're just blowing smoke. So, all right. Has your thinking changed? What do you feel differently about? What was meaningful? What tools? Anybody got anything on that one? Says the goal of our time together is to help you think, feel, act, and use what you've learned to ignite your passion and help you achieve your big why. Yeah, write down your ahas if you have them. Whoops. I kind of like the format of this. If we, you know, it's a lot different. Taking the time to reflect on what you learned is important. All right. Anybody got anything? All right, let's move on. Daily success habits. All right. Build your database, script practice, lead generation, and contact practice, optional. Goals to set your career on fire. This is I was at the first class that Art taught. I sat through that, and actually he was calling it the 10-4-10, you know, that 10 conversations, 10 contacts. I think he was saying 4 handwritten notes and home previews per week. I can't wait till we get back to in-person showings and things like that, and making them, you know, that they aren't so restrictive on previewing houses. I think you get a much better view of a house if you walk through it. You can see things that perhaps the photographer left out, so as to speak, you know, and get an idea. The smell of the house, things like that, you know, are all important things that you can't get by just looking at the house on Bright. But at this point, that's kind of where we are. So one of these days, we'll be able to get back into the houses and preview them. And I think that's really important. For a while, there were 3 of us that were starting out about the same time. And so we picked Fridays. And we, you know, every other Friday we would go out. One day I would pick like 3 houses that we would go see in a certain area. And then 2 weeks later, one of the others would pick 3 houses that would, you know, and set up the appointment so we could go boom, boom, boom and look at these 3 houses. You know, it just makes a big difference when you're, you know, and were usually places where we had somebody looking in that area, or, you know, just to get used to opening the door, you know, using the sentry lock, and looking at the houses. Funny story, going back to open air to home previews and even showing the houses. Be sure that when you have the key, either you put it back in the lockbox. I don't like to put it back in the lockbox because then that, if I have it in my pocket, it gives me control. I lock the front door when I come in so that with my clients, so that nobody can interrupt us. Whether it's somebody that just wants to show the house behind me, or that an unwelcome visitor of some sort. So I always lock the door. But be sure you know where the key is. Don't set it down on the counter when you walk in after you've taken it out of the lockbox. Put it in your pocket. Hold it in your hand. Put it in. I have a slot on the back of my phone that I stick the key in, so because I always have it. So one day, early on, I was showing a house. I put the key down on the armoire right inside the door. And I hadn't locked the door, but we're all going out to look at the back or whatever. The door shuts and there's nobody in the house. I don't have the key. And there's, of course, not the key in the sentry lock. So I ended up calling the listing agent. She had not gotten a second key, which is another thing I'll tell you about in a minute. She had not gotten a key or had a key other than the one that was in the lockbox. It ended up costing me $400 to have a locksmith come out and unlock a door and replace the lock on one of the downstairs doors. So that was a hard learned lesson. So hold on to that key. It's very important. Don't put it down when you're in the house. Some people have doors that lock just as soon as you close, they never unlock. They just lock from the outside whenever they close. So then that brought up another interesting thing that I do when I have a house listed. Before I put a key in the lockbox, in the Sentry lockbox, I go and have 2 other keys made. It's, cost of sales, but what, $1.50 or whatever a piece. They aren't expensive, but I have 2 other keys made so that if that situation would happen, I'm prepared. So anyway, just a other little tidbit, for keeping yourself, on that. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. Goal of Spark is participant get their first point task on. Okay, so that's excuse me. It's 10:56. We'll give it a few more minutes. See, we're on 22 of 31 slides. Excuse me. Thank you. Anyway, you've heard that a million times. Scripts. You guys are all doing great with scripts, right? You're all partnered up and everybody's practicing scripts. I hate practicing scripts. I hate practicing scripts. But they are so important. One of the scripts that I learned, and I was so glad that I learned it, was when somebody asks you to lower your commission, to say, well, how would you feel if you went into work and your boss said, well, I want you to give me a kickback, or I want you to I want to pay you a lot less for the job that you're doing than I was. How would you feel? And I don't think that's the script. It's gone out of my head. But,
I don't know if anybody saw Art's post on Facebook yesterday, the drawing of the horse.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was good. Did you guys see that? Yeah, it was good. It was exactly what that was. So yeah, practicing scripts. All right. So, does anybody have any questions? Great. Role play, script practice. Oh, compliance. Do not call. Contact practice. Okay. All right. Real quick, we've just gone through the rest of those. Command, connect. Those are all, great places to get all sorts of information, as well as the Vesta website. What's his name? The owner has a lot of great little 30-second tips or minutes, tips on the contract, etc. that are, there's so much information out there. And sometimes getting it in little pieces instead of this long blah, 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 blah that I'm doing, it's more helpful. So just saying. And so through command and connect. All right. Create your success list. My coach had me do this a couple of weeks ago. And I think it really made a big difference on how I look at things. So I have things that are to do, things that I should be doing, what the priority of them is, and tasks. And so I think that I'm going to implement this little sheet and work on it every night before I, do my to-do list, before I leave the office or before I go to bed at night, so that you have your day planned for the next day. So I wanted to talk to you for just a second about when you're lead generating. It's easy to say, well, who do I call today? You look at you go, okay, my database has 150 people on it. Oh, I don't want to call them. Ooh, I'm not in the mood to talk to them. No. There's a tool out there. It's called the D2D, D2, D3, D2, I don't know, B2, I don't know. But it categorizes your, let me get one of them. All right, it looks like this. Can you guys see that? Okay, so you don't need to do that, pull it out. But say this week, I should have pulled up this week's. Today is March 8th. Oh, it is P&L is for this week. That's funny. Profit, baby. That's how you can remember it. But you sort your database according to their last names. And so you would call anybody whose last name begins with a P or an L. And you'd go through that list. On Monday, you would call, as many as you can, whatever. If they don't answer, you leave a message. You just say, hi, it's Ceci with Keller Williams at Dulles. I'm just calling to see how everything is going and see if there's anything I can do, for you, whether it's real estate or other. Give me a call back, or I will try to catch you again later in the week. On Tuesday, you call again. You may or may not. They may or may not pick up. A lot of times people don't pick up the first day because they don't recognize your number. So they may, then pick up on Tuesday. Once you've talked to them, then you mark them off your list, and you, so then on Wednesday, if you still haven't talked to them, maybe you send them an email. And then on Thursday, you give them one more chance and try to call them and just say, sorry, I've missed you. If there's anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out. Here's my phone number. Here's my email, whatever, along those lines. So that there are 13 or 12 of them. So there's a list of who to call every week. It's already planned out for you. It's DTD2 groups. And so then you go through, and so it's 4 times a year that you're reaching out to those people who are P&Ls, if that makes sense. So like next week will be the T and J's, so anybody whose last name begins with a T or a J. There's a conversation that is out there that is also very helpful. It's called the Ford conversation. Has anybody heard of that? Yeah, you have. Okay. How about you, Caitlin? Have you heard of that? Or Peter? It is a conversation where you aren't just going, "Hi, it's Ceci. What what do you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Are you interested? Okay, goodbye." No. What you do is it's the Ford. It's family. You ask about the family. You talk to them a little bit about the family. You ask them about work and how things are. That's the organization. R is about recreation. You ask them, well, what are you doing for fun? You got any good plan, whatever. And believe it or not, I can't think of what D is.
Dream.
Dreams. Yeah, thank you. Dream. You've definitely heard of it. So
Yeah, like family, occupation, recreation, and dreams.
yeah. So it's a great opportunity. It gives you, without really being on a script, it gives you a conversation starter, and it makes it easy. And somewhere in there you ask about, real estate or not, just letting people know that you're calling them and you're thinking about them, staying top of mind. So those are the 2 things that I wanted to throw in there about lead generation. I think they're very helpful. I do have a list. If you want it, I can upload it on what letters to call, but it just makes it easier, week to week and it keeps you from saying, I don't want to talk to Mary this week. She bugs me. But you go ahead and call her, and she may not answer. So, but she knows you're out there. She knows you're a real estate agent. So anyway, all right. It's 11:05. Why don't we take a 5-minute break and then we will get into the others. Please excuse me if I've been kind of all over, but oh well.
No, that was great.
Oh, you've been great.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
That's super.
Okay.
Super.
So let's take 5 minutes and we'll see everybody back at 11:10.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks. Is everybody back?
Back, yes,
Yep,
and
back.
Ceci, just a heads up, I have a hard stop at noon, so you'll excuse me if I have to drop off.
Well, hopefully we'll be finished at noon. So,
Okay.
yeah. So anyway, all right. Now we're going to get into a fun section. Yeah, financial basics. Let me just start by saying I have not kept any books. What I've done for the last 5 years is all my receipts go into a box, and then I spend a weekend going through them, figuring out what they were. I always write what I put on them. This is going to stop. This is going to stop this year. I'm going to run a P&L. And so, Kari, are you waving at me? Okay, no, I guess not. All right. Anyway, so what I'm basically saying is we're going to learn this together. We're going to do, this is my goal for this year, is to run a P&L and know really where all my money is instead of just playing it by ear. I'm fortunate enough that my husband pays most of the bills, and I buy groceries and a couple of other things. So take us out to dinner, things like that. So I haven't really had to do that, but now as we're getting ready to retire, then I need to have a better accounting system. So I'm going to be a big girl now, put on my big girl pants and start being responsible. So it's about time. All right. So we've been through that, that now we're getting into run the business, manage your money. So we'll be employing techniques and models used to the most successful real estate agents in for managing how each commission check is handled and how we can use our money to build the bright futures for ourselves. I highly recommend that you put together some type of plan and not do it like I have. Do as I say, not as I have done. So basically, all right, perspective. So think back to the classes you took to become a licensed real estate agent. Do you remember learning how to handle your finances as an agent while studying for your license? No, they did not say anything about that. The answer to this question is a flat no. Today we'll dive into the practices you can put into place to ensure you have financially sound business and can fund your big life. So there we go. Back to, it's not really about the money. It is about the money. So here we go. Keller Williams is known for model systems and technology, so naturally KW offers powerful tools driven by technology to help you pursue your personal and business goals. Use the proven models and tools in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book to have a smart and sound business. I read this when I was a brand new agent and none of it made sense. It was, I don't know, it just didn't make sense to me. So I read it and I kind of went, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? Let's just go sell houses and we'll deal with this later. This is available on Amazon if you don't already have it. Do you already have it? Peter, Caitlin, anybody?
Oh, yeah, I have it, but like you, I was like, I don't know if this is useful just yet.
Exactly. You don't know how to use it. So one thing I will show you, since I've got it in my hand, is in the appendix. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a sample P&L. And today, or at this time, Gary Keller is more into P&Ls that there are a lot of mega agents out there that are not running profitable businesses. So the people on stage today, you know, at family reunion, at mega camp, whatever, are now having to show that they're running a profitable business, that it's not, you know, it's not just about the big numbers and sales, that it's actually running it. So, and then there's another one called the sample balance sheet. So I think, you know, Intuit QuickBooks is $25 a month. So, you know, which would probably be helpful. So anyway, so the habits for a financially sound business, of course, you can read all of those. Fund your big life, estimate and pay for your taxes on time. That's the part I really hate. Use the proven models and systems of the chart of accounts. Be fiscally savvy by reviewing your financials monthly. Pay yourself a salary. Be prepared for a financially secure future. Money is good for all the good that it can do. All right. Thank you, Gary, for your wisdom. But yeah, he's right. I mean, he donates so much. And that's part of the whole Keller Williams thought too, is giving back to the community. So financially sound or unsound. So let's see, you can just on this slide, take Jessica's name out of there and put Ceci's. Okay, that's how I have run my business, which is not financially sound. Anyway, well, let's see. $9,000 commission check for Ceci receives profit or is it income or revenue? It's income. The profit is whatever's left after you've funded your business, your taxes, and your personal life style. So there's something on page 5 of your participant guide for you to review. So which scenario is financially sound to? So Jessica is saving 40% of her income for taxes. This might be a high number. When I first started, Judy Haynes taught Ignite, and she was saying pretty much 30, 30, 30. 30 for business expenses, 30 for the taxes, and then 30 for your profit. So I think this is a little better. So yeah, I think this makes a lot more sense than going wild. So financially, okay, one transaction. I tried to do the math on this, and so I couldn't really come up with the how they came up with the 5,760. I guess it's different markets have different caps or, you know, company dollar, and the royalty is always 6,000 back to, excuse me, back to Keller Williams International. So so after all of that, and we'll see how we get to 2,419 into our pocket. So the MREA models. So, okay, we're going to look at a model. Okay. Anyway, I'm sure most of you have seen this. GCI is your gross commission income. I found that they use so many letters for different things, you know, and you kind of look at them and you go, well, what does that mean? What is COS? Well, it's cost of sales, operating and net profit. So out of a $10,000 commission check, your cost of sales would be $3,000, which I think is really expensive. And then your operating expenses, that would be your rent, your accountant, your, phone, things like that. So the flow of money. The flow of money, income is what goes in, expenses is what goes out, and then that's whatever is left is your profit. Duh. Okay. And then, so, your profit is your goal. How can I minimize expenses to maximize my net income? And how many houses do I have to sell? So that's going to be the fun thing. How many of you totally understand how you can figure out what you want to make and how you are going to get there? You do?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, of course, you're math. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, yeah. So Zoe was a productivity coach for a while here.
Yeah,
And
she's great. We did the business planning thing,
yeah,
the business planning clinic.
yeah. So
I think also Cindy, right? She like went through that with us, like showing all the different things that we want, and helping like deduct, that from that to get that.
so she's already been through all that. And
Yeah, a lot of this sounds kind of redundant, but I'm still learning, so it's good.
Okay, then we can get through it on time. So, so you have your listing income, your sales income, your referral income, and your leasing income. So on your cost of sales, the company dollar, cost of sales, okay, 10%. Does everybody know what the cap is for the office? Nope.
What is that, like 6,000?
6,000 is the royalty that goes to KWRI. But to cap, it's 25,000.
Okay.
So, and to the office. And then the commissions are splits paid to employees or independent contractors. That would be like if you hired the leverage people. I do my own. I don't do that many, that I feel overwhelmed. And once you've started working with contracts, you know where everything's going to go pretty quickly. I highly recommend on going to contracts, taking Brad's contract class, and he'll go through what is the important part. So royalty is capped at 3,000. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not 6,000. Maybe it's only 3, but it's 6%. You sell. It's 6% of your individual sale. Oh,
Yeah,
well.
I thought it was 3,000. I don't know if it's different for teams, but
No, yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, you're right, Peter. It is 3,000. So, which is your royalty? It's 6% is where I was getting that number. And that always confused me. So I'm not a math person. Digging into the cost of sales. Okay, here we go. What is the next net commission check you will receive after cost of sales? This is how we're going to figure this out. Okay, in this area, on a $500,000 house, let's just start with that. There, 500,000. times 2.5% equals $12,500. Okay, so let's start there. Okay, let's go with 3%. $500,000 times 3% equals $15,000. Okay, let's start with that. That's a nice easy number. So we'll go $15,000 there, and then your 6% of the GC royalty, and there's your net and your company dollars. So that comes, you already capped on royalty and have not yet capped on company dollar. What is the net commission check you'll receive? So you just have to take out the 6% that you give to the company. You've capped on both, and what is the net commission check you'll receive? $15,000. So let's go on. Okay, plan for your future. This, I did this yesterday, and everybody knows what they're looking for, your net profit goal, right? So how do we get there? And figuring out how many houses we have to sell. So invite the audience to page 10 of your participant guide, and follow along with you as you complete the activity, which will give them an outline of their annual business plan built off their own profit goal. Write down an annual net profit on the top of the sheet of piece of paper. Okay, so if you want to have at the end of the year $100,000 in your bank account, then you says click the advanced slide to display 100,000. Okay, calculate the gross profit goal you will need to make for your account. Okay, so gross profit goal would be divide that number by 60%. So you need to make at least $66,000 more than that 100. Okay, almost $67,000. Okay, and then divide it by the 40% gross profit that you're hoping to have. Oh, gross commission income. That's what you need to do in income to make that $100,000. Divide the GCI by the number of, by the average commission income. Basically, our average income, I think really now is down to 2.5%. There are a lot of agents that still are very hard on the 3%, and some of them are going, okay, I'll do the house for 5.5% as opposed to 6%, giving the other agent 2.5%, and they're keeping the 3%. That's becoming a big reality right now. So then your anticipated cost of sales is $23,000. And that's royalty plus your cap. And actually here it would be 28 because our cap is 25. And then your operating GCI by 30% is 124.9. So you would end up with, $125,000 for your profit. So, yeah, there's a lot of here that I kind of went right over. But does everybody understand where we were and how we got there? So it was confusing to me for the first time. So anyway, best practices. Gain clarity on your big life hopes and dreams, such as personal and business budgets. Budget. Huh. What is that? Yeah. I'm working on that too. Set up your business entity. In your participant guide, page 11, you'll see the short list of best practices. Check off the first item on this list, given your experience in Spark. Go through the list. What type of deadline will you give yourself to complete each task? Under the who column, write down who's going to take it. Okay, that's this. Okay. I'm kind of going through these all fast. Forgive me. But, they're all things that we've done. You've seen these a billion times. So, script practice. Oh, look, compliance, do not call list. Very important. Okay, contract. Okay, there's your success list again. All right. You guys want to go through the money thing again and figure out how to get to and how many houses you need to do? Caitlin, are you on a team also, or are you an individual agent?
No, I'm individual.
Uh,
So yeah.
So being a financial person, you probably have already done this for how to get where you want to be.
Yeah, actually, before John left, he helped me with this.
Yeah.
I was lucky to have his help.
Yeah. And Peter, I know you've done this a million times.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
All right. And obviously, Art, you and Zoe have gone through this. So pretty much that's the whole thing on this, but basically keep track of where you are, tracking, and be consistent. So enough for that. Anybody have any questions that you want to ask me personally about my business, about anything that you've seen that you don't understand? I'll do my best to answer the questions.
I was just going to ask, next time you go on an open house, I know, COVID and all that stuff changes things. I would love to come with you, just experience it and see what it's kind of like to get, clients that way. Just because I haven't yet. And so that'd be very interesting to see.
Great. How long is your surgery recovery going to be?
It should only be like a month, this one. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that's it. But yeah.
Yeah, good. Hopefully by then we'll be able to do open houses that are live.
Yeah.
And not just so.
Caitlin, I apologize. Were you on Art's productivity coaching call yesterday?
I was not, no.
It was about open houses, and he gave a lot of. Well, it's out on Facebook and probably on YouTube.
Okay.
Kari posts them out there, so you can take a look at it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
One of the takeaways that he had, and I don't know that he sent it out. He's got a very good sign-in sheet to capture people's information. So you might see if you can get a copy of that.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Thanks for the
Sure.
411.
Yeah, and Art, it's the same for you, obviously.
Yeah, I've experimented with several sign-in sheets. I've tried to use some of the programs on my iPad and things like that. Just trying to get people to give you the right information and stuff. One little helpful thing as an agent, when your clients that are looking to buy, they're not always going to go out with you. They're going to look, on their own also. You just know that, know that right from the beginning, that every time they, drive by and they say open house or whatever, especially once we come open again, they're going to look on their own. They're going to, either make an appointment or just stop by. I give my clients that are buyers a stack of my cards and tell them that when you go into an open house, the agent's going to try to get you to sign in that they're looking for buyers. They're looking for buyers. And basically when you walk in that door, you're raising your hand and saying, I want to buy a house. So I tell them to give that to the agent, and that way then the agent won't, because everybody lies about whether or not they have an agent. But if they have a card from an agent, I've asked a million people. It's really kind of funny. I play a game with them so how'd you hear about the open house? Oh, I saw it online, blah, it was on Zillow, whatever. Oh, so do you have an agent? Because that's one of the first questions you want to ask at any point. And they go, oh yeah, I have an agent. Oh, really? Who are you working with? Who have you signed with? Oh, well, it's a friend of mine. Oh, really? Well, who do they work for? Long and Foster. They're just kind of searching in their mind for another name, and or oh yeah, I'm working with, if they come up with a name, a real name, then they really do have an agent. But if they're kind of going, well, it's a friend of mine, or whatever. So, just to qualify those leads before you start calling them helps, just a, thing. So any other questions?
No, I will add that, people, it's how brazenly people lie is a matter of degree. I've had some people that, when you ask for a name, they give you a name, and then you go look it up, because guess what? There's a directory of realtors and that person's not in there.
Right. So, and I usually say at that point, well, great, if they kind of like, well, why are you asking who my agent is or whatever? Oh, I like to call them and let them know that you came through the house and maybe get your feedback through them, on the house. And then they kind of fumble. So.
Ceci's making them flinch.
Yeah. So, and probably if they're going to lie to you right there at the beginning, they aren't going to be somebody you want to work with anyway. So,
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah. So, honesty all the way around. And, that's a big thing with Keller Williams. Anyway, all right. I don't know that there's any other things, information I can share with you that would be useful. The D2 is a great way to make your calls every day, and your calls for the week. And just go for it. Go for it. My office is downstairs in the same hall as the training office or training room. If you come in and go down the steps, you'd walk right into my office. You're more than welcome to come in at any time and say hello. I keep a mask on my desk so that I can put my mask on when you come in. I am fully vaccinated, or will be fully vaccinated next week. I've got my second shot Monday the 1st. So on the 14th, I'll be through my 2 weeks. Excuse me. So that's where I am. You're more than welcome to stop by. I have some books for resources. If there's anything you need that I might have already printed out, or that I can show you where to find it, I'd be glad to help you with that. I'm also chairman of the committee, culture committee. And I'm always looking for people, new ideas to join the culture committee. There's my commercial. On Friday night, we are having a happy hour. I think the times are 5 to 8. It's in the Market Center news or calendar. It's going to be outside. We'll have a couple of fire pits, even though the weather's going to be pretty good. It possibly rain. If it's raining, I imagine we'll cancel. But the sun, when it goes down, it's going to get kind of cool anyway. So we'll have fire pits going. It'll be bring your own snacks, bring your own beverage, and bring your own chair. Jocelyn from McLean Mortgage is going to provide s'mores. You're more than welcome to bring your husband, your significant other, your children, as long as you're going to watch them around the fire. You know, but it's a great opportunity to mix with other agents, new and old. And it's business happy hour, so you're more than welcome to talk personal or business with any of them. There's, I'm sure, going to be several of the really the bigger teams and bigger agents in the office that would love to talk to you. I'm sure you've met the Lutkins and Zoe and different people. The other commercial I'm going to make is for the shred event. You know, depending on what your sphere of influence looks like, you know, but even 5 people, you know, you invite 5 people, it's worth it to get them to see that Keller Williams is out here. It's not really a Keller Williams, but it's your event. The nice thing about it as a individual agent is it's not embarrassing if only 1 or 2 of your people show up, because they see a whole big crowd and they think that you've sponsored this whole big crowd, that it's not just so. You know.
Well, I'd love to join that little culture committee once my health allows, if that's something I could do.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'd love to have you whenever you're ready.
Great.
So anyway, thank you guys for your time and your patience with me as I've read the things. Like I said, I've never done this on Zoom. The ones that I have taught, the Ignite classes from the old one, were mostly on how to find houses and how to price, do CMAs and things like that. So this was a new experience, and like I said, I'm still learning every day. So,
Well, thank you for taking the time to teach all of us.
Yeah, thank you,
It was really
Ceci.
great.
Yeah,
My-
thanks, Ceci. It was a great session. I appreciate it.
my pleasure. Thank you. And let me know if there's anything I can do. Have a great day.
Have a good day,
Okay.
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you. Take
See you
care.
Friday.